Hi, this is the haul from a London comic mart. I just went to it this weekend. Really excellent, as always. Lots and lots of tables, lots of comics, and I'm just going to run through the comics. I've got a few things, other things like DVDs and things, but not as many books. In fact, one book in total. That was it. Normally I pick up loads, but I just didn't see anything that I thought, oh, I must have. But this one, I absolutely love coverless comics. I've got quite a few coverless comics now, and these ones, £2. Perfectly reasonable price for a lovely bit of Joe Maneely from 1950s. Now, obviously, I haven't got the actual cover, so I'm guessing it. I think it's Riot 3, I think, this one. But the artwork's great, wonderful little story. And, well, you can see, obviously, definitely of the time, but it's just a great little tool. And also, always, of course, comes with one of these things as well. Ulysses is my name. Never know why they had those, but I know it's for postage reasons, but it's still just always odd. I doubt if anyone ever read them. I did occasionally, but Ivan Schmo. Now, this one I think was reprinted later, or a variant in Not Brand Ek. Obviously, the storylines are definitely that. Lots of these ones have never been reprinted. Hopefully, at some point, Atlas Comics Library will bring out, obviously, a comedy book that will include lots and lots of these stories. Be really great to see. However, you can see some of them obviously here, just going through there. Because, I say, they didn't reprint any of these, I don't think, in the Marvel Masterworks. I think there was no sort of series of these ones. I remember Mummy. Little Abnormal. Now, you can quite often see where the story comes. Obviously, Little Abner. But the next one is Last of the Mo Higgins. Again, you can obviously tell where that comes from as well. Now, I don't think they're as good as the Mad ones, but they're still pretty good, or even Panic. But they're still quite decent. Now, I've also got another couple, and I'm just going to show those, but very similar sort of thing as well. I think Atlas probably only had one or two of these sort of magazines out. Wild and Riot, maybe. Anyway, I think it's great. Weird Worlds. I love these ones, these Tarzan ones. They're not Tarzan, but Edgar Rice Burroughs, I should say. But they obviously have to put Tarzan up there. Obviously, the selling point, because people probably didn't know John Carter, etc. So, it's a good point doing this. And there's this story here. And the next story is the John Carter story, and that's Iron Wolf. Now, that's not included in here, it's just an advert for it. But they are John Carter. I've got quite a lot of John Carter. I don't think I've got this one, so I don't know if they brought this one out in any of the collections. I haven't seen one, but it'd be really nice to see. Of course, it's got the usual there, DC Comics World, behind the scenes, or, I don't know, direct currents or whatever it was, those sort of things. And obviously there's the storyline there, just to completely ruin the story. And you've got John Carter, Warlord of Mars. And of course got a bit of advert, Commandy just down the bottom there, Last Boy on Earth. Now this was 1973. Now when I was taking it out of the, just as always, I just caught a bit of the tape and of course sort of had to pull it away. I really hate tape on comics. It always seems to catch, whenever you're not looking, suddenly it just flops down. You think, how do you get it? Of course, it wouldn't matter. Well, it doesn't particularly matter with this one because it's obviously a pretty tatty copy. But say it was like Spider-Man #1 or something, you'd go, that would be slightly more painful. Or Action Comics #1. Imagine if you got one of those and it suddenly got the flap came down on it. Why? However, this one, I think this is from St. John's. I love St. John's. I've got a number of comics from St. John's. One of those companies that publishers that produce lots of great books, now completely forgotten about, but certainly one that I certainly love. And again, it's got the same sort of stories there, weird, creepy stories, weird, creepy, awful, spooky, ghastly comics feature. Obviously covering the whole range of titles you get from obviously like Mad. And again, you've got all the various stories, and they really cram everything in. That's the way they did it. Lots and lots of things. Look at the text as well. They really sort of piled it in. Nowadays, they wouldn't put that many words in things. But also, you've got, got to love that. You've got, next page, you've got, Mighty Mouse. I Am Mighty Mouse. Now, Mighty Mouse, I think, was published at that time by, and you've got Super Moose as well. I think it was published by St. John at that point. And next story here, 3D. Obviously, they brought out 3D books. So you've got here, and it's obviously by Kubert and Mora. Obviously, you can guess who that is. And then on to the next one, 3D. It must be it's 3D comics never did much for me, but still. 3D TV doesn't do much for me either. Flush Jordan. obviously can guess where that comes from as well. So the stories are still very enjoyable. Now, I'm not certain who the artist was for this one. It doesn't always... Oh, Alex Overgaard, apparently, just down there. But still, learn to be a comic book artist. Here's your big chance. Learn to draw regular and 3D. Pretty good. Unfortunately, 3D didn't last very long, so that wouldn't be really very much use, would it? But still, Black Cat Mysteries. Now, this one is from 1954. This is number 53, published by Monthly, it says there. I love the fact they got the contents on there, so you can just see Marching Zombies, Forbidden Room, The Last Man on Earth. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Trick the Devil. They did lots of those sort of stories. Very rarely worked. But still, you've got there. Obviously, I think soon that's the... I don't know what one that one is. The Last Man on Earth, probably, I guess. Then you've got some other stories there. Let's on to the... Do you dare to walk the streets now? No. Forbidden Rooms. Room, even. Again, it never doesn't always include the name of the artist or any details at all, in fact. But the artwork's really good. Really nice artwork. And again, I think this was £2 as well. And on to the next one. Marching Zombies. Nothing like Dawn of the Dead zombies, but well, pretty... the zombies of that period anyway, of obviously 1954. Now, I just watched last night The Rise of the Zombies, which was quite good. Had a really good cast. I really loved that film. It was, but it obviously wasn't up to the George Romero sort of thing, but it was a decent, and that was one of the ones that the DVDs, Blu-rays I got. I will be reviewing it in a couple of weeks' time at the Comic Mart. The Hooded Horseman, number 9. Now, this is 9 old pennies. Now, this one's an Australian one, distributed, you can see, Melbourne, Victoria. I love these sort of ones. Now, I must admit, I wasn't sure when I picked it up. I assumed it was just a weird 1950s comic. I was slightly wrong there, but it was a black and white one. Gordon and Gotch. And you got but it's obviously the artwork inside, black and white. Always good. Really lovely. Western stories here. You can see there. Now, it's not a very thick one. Quite often these ones are often 68 pages, but I think Australian ones often seem to be slightly smaller. Unfortunately, it doesn't particularly give again much details about the actual artist or anything. So, Injun Jones. Now, I can't even tell particularly who did them. Could be ACG, I don't know. Not certain. And you got there Bantam Buckaroo. Could be Harvey or someone else maybe as well. It's possible. I really can't say. And you got there Horseman, apparently. Oh, it's weird. It says North Sydney there, and on the front it's got Melbourne, Victoria. Very confusing. But still, you've also got Stamp Album at the back as well. This is excellent. I absolutely love this one. Strange Weird. Now, I loved the first 2 issues, and this issue is just as good, if not actually, I think it's a lot better actually. Though it doesn't feature the characters that I really liked in the first ones, but the new ones are really good. I think it's nice that he's introduced some interesting sort of characters that you could see going into the 4th or 5th issue. And I love the fact you got there. Now, we'll be doing a review of this. I think it's just really good, but I want to just quickly show you. And this is issue 3, and you can see it's $2.99. Get a copy. You can obviously, I assume you can get copies lots of different ways. Available in Gosh Comics and Mega City Comics, it says there. So worth checking out. But also, of course, you can meet up with him at the Comic Mart and get a copy there. It's always good. Roots. I really love this one. Really nice little start there. It's all in black and white. Well, it's a bit of colour at the back. This one, A Fear of Flying. It's always got a really great bit of sense of humour all the way through. I just love the sort of... in fact, actually, you know how it's going to end in many ways. It's near enough written in the way that I would have written it. So it's just a really obvious end, but at the same time, I love that as well. Just great references as well. You got Frazetta there. Strange Weird. It's great. Wild Cat Books. Guide to Soft Drinks. Bowie, Cosmic Eye. Now, obviously, I assume that Nick loves David Bowie because David Bowie turns up in this later. And this is great as well. I love this one. Interview with the Alien. Obviously, interview with a vampire, but instead interviewing, but really good. Really, and I could see that being continued as well in a particular weird way. The twist at the end, it's always, anyway, I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want to spoil any stories, but it's just great. Really good. Split over 3 little stories, and it's just fascinating. He sort of describes why or the purpose of life. The purpose of life is basically I'm not going to say because it would spoil it, but it's really good. Very true, great. Obviously, you've got dinosaurs in, everything gets featured in this. And, well, goes into the next one, and then the next one, and then we're on to the next story, which is great King Dice. And that's got a nice twist again. That's, I think, all the stories have got these sort of like twist endings, which you can probably guess. Though this one, I didn't actually. So it's a great little... this character obviously has a bet, and so they think they're going to win on it, of course. And on to the next story. You've got, and I love this one. This is great. This is certainly, again, matches my humour, definitely. I just love this because that was... And I was talking about the Rise of the Zombies one. There wasn't any sort of reference to that in this, but in many ways there were sort of things like that. You think, oh no, why do characters do certain things? And of course, if there were really zombies, I'd probably fall foul of lots of the things, and probably something like this as well. Just great when you're sneaking around, and of course the zombies cut sort of, and you've got their cans. Bad idea. Bad idea. Actually, I watched one recently as well. I was watching The Crazies, and there was a certain, which I didn't really couldn't work out. And again, spoiler for this one, Crazies one. There was a bit, but it didn't really continue on. When I was thinking something happened where this character does something, and you think, why did they put that bit in if they weren't going to continue it on in a particular way? And it's very similar to this. So it's just great. I love this sort of you can't beat zombies, as far as I'm concerned. I love it. Great zombie stories. Watched too many recently, obviously with The Crazies and also Rise of the Vampires, Zombies. Kronos, I love this one. This is really good. Real nice one. This obviously a guy with this actually it's a time device. And obviously this criminal wants to get it. And the thing is, again, I don't want to spoil the story, but it's just great the way. It's terrible, isn't it, a review where you can't actually say anything because it would just spoil the story. It's just brilliant. Absolutely great. I love the way they got the 3 aliens, obviously with the story inside as well. I think that's just a really great cover and great artwork on the back. Superb. I just love these sort of things where he's got like 4 or 5 stories. Really hope that he continues to do these sort of comics because that's the sort of stories I really love. Great humour. Nothing too serious, not too particularly violent, obviously. It's just great. Absolutely love it. Lost in Space. Love these ones as well. Though this one is unfortunately not the greatest of issues of Lost in Space. Space Family Robinson, I should say. The Formless Foe. It was okay. £1. You can't beat that. Obviously, I paid a little bit more than that, but not much. It was, again, a nice tatty issue there. You got there. The artwork's fine. I mean, it does nothing, but it's sort of... Actually... Not really when you look at it. There's not many words to it, is there? They sort of really cut back on that. The spaceship's weapons will kill the thing. You're really talking great stuff there. Boom, boom. And that's about it. Obviously, it doesn't work particularly well. And then on to the jokes. I love the fact they included jokes. The Gold Key Club. Now, I was just next door to someone, and I mentioned about Gold Key, and he was looking for Dell. Of course, about 5 minutes, he said, I can't find any Dell. And I said, he's got a gold key there. And, of course, he wandered off. And then 5 seconds later, I found a pile of Dell ones. And I was thinking, I looked around, I couldn't see him. I thought, maybe you'd been interested in that pile of Dell comics. Of course, Gold Key, Dell, that sort of similar history there. And you've got the story there. They didn't really include much information in these comics. It was literally the comic all the way through. Hardly anything. You wouldn't know that there was any other comics connected with the Gold Key. They really didn't push their other stuff, other than the back, and one that I've got. And I've been thoroughly enjoying King Kong recently. I just watched the 1976 Jessica Lange version, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was brilliant. Jeff Bridges was superb. I watched it when it came out. Absolutely loved seeing it again. Completely daft. Really great story. And I've... stupidly, perhaps, I don't know if it's going to be any good, I've ordered King Kong Lives, or as my device, which I won't mention the name, calls it King Kong Lives. I don't think it means that, it lives. But anyway, but this is probably the earliest of the Treasury editions that you can ever get. I've got this one, absolutely brilliant, King Kong, Giant of the Jungle now featuring this giant new comic book, as it said there, Gold Key, and battling prehistoric monsters, rampaging New York City, etc. Fighting for life atop the Empire State Building. So I'm looking forward to watch the next Kong one, which is Kong versus Godzilla. I've yet to get to that. And then, of course, then there's the new film, the Empire one, which I look forward to as well. This one's great. DC Special and Joe Kubert. Absolutely great. I'm not certain why they haven't brought out a really huge volume of Joe Kubert's art. Now, there's a new series. I know now what's called DC something. Someone mentioned it to me anyway. There is a new series of these going to be collections like Superman, Flash, all those ones. And had to quickly look. DC Finest. It's a new collection of books. I don't know the size of the books or what's going to be featured, but it looks like it's going to be based on a year. Seems to be. You've got like Superman, obviously you've got Batman, Flash, but hopefully they bring out some ones maybe of loads of these various characters, because a lot of these characters, like all the Viking prints, they never seem to get reprints. And it does mention that lots of comics that have never been reprinted before will be included in this series. I'm hopeful for the series. Let's hope they continue and produce. It's going to be something like the Epic or Complete Collection from Marvel. And, well, let's hope. Apparently comes out in November, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, back to this. DC Special, number 5. Now, I did buy this when it came out. Unfortunately, I got rid of my copy, but I just love this start sequence where obviously you've got the artist there working away, Sergeant Rock, cover done, etc., etc. Obviously, you've got the family. Can't beat that special. You get your family into the special as well. And then, of course, you've got Sergeant Rock, good old Sergeant Rock. But also, it's got a few other stories as well, which is, of course, really good. Now, I don't know if it actually includes the period, obviously, that one. No idea. Probably early 1960s or maybe into the 50s, I expect. And, of course, you've got Hawkman. You wouldn't expect any less with you, Hawkman there. Menace of the Matter Master. See, Hawk Girl as well. There he is there. And on to the next story. Let's just have a quick... also, it features a lovely one here. Dr. Fate. All-Star Comics. Now, I would love if they included some of those. That would have been good. And, of course, a Johnny Quick. That would have been great as well. You've got Wildcat, Zatara, also Vigilante, Firehair, as well as many others. Oh, Firehair, got that. Leading Comics, you've got some, obviously, more Fact File number 9. It gives, obviously, details there about the Seven Soldiers, Crimson Avenger. And, again, it would be nice if they'd been included as well. But you've got Viking Prince. A lot of these stories, the really early one, Brave and the Bold ones, they've just never been reprinted particularly well anyway. I think there's been a few minor collections, but certainly nothing that's particularly readily available. And that's it. But still, a really enjoyable little DC special. Obviously, 2 shillings when it came out. T&P, as it says there. Daring and the Different. This one's another good old DC special, Plastic Man. And this one is full of 1940s, 1950s stories. There's nothing, obviously, the later DC material, but this one's really good. Obviously, been slightly cropped there. 48 pages for 25 cents. And you've got there the original story, obviously, Police Comics number 1 there. Plastic Man, the origin of... Doesn't have the best of origins. Obviously, he's a villain, and he turns into plastic kind of very... But I think he used the power really well. It's not like Reed Richards, where I always felt Reed Richards never really used his powers particularly to the maximum. I think they could have done a lot more. I mean, in the early comics, he did use a bit more, but now he sort of does hardly uses it at all, particularly. Obviously, he uses his brain instead. You got Plastic Man there, presenting the man who can't be harmed, apparently. And that one doesn't... Police Comics number 13. Obviously, all by Jack Cole. Great artwork. Love the artwork of Plastic Man. And I would love to see, if they're bringing out this new series, that they actually go with, of course, Plastic Man as well. That would be really great. Coming soon in the DC Super Spectator story. So maybe there was another one as well. Just mentions there. Very strange. Or maybe they just meant in this issue. However, Plastic Man products there. And this one's number 17 from May 1949, apparently. I mean, look at that. That's not the sort of thing that you'd see, obviously, Reed Richards ever do. Just not really done that way. However, on to the next story. This one's Woozy, of course, his partner in crime. He was a great character as well, Woozy. And you can see there, number 26, and that was from 1950. Again, the artwork is just superb. And I think actually that's it. That is it for all the stories. And of course, you've got a lovely there, various awards, obviously Green Lantern there, Neil Adams, etc. And Best Inker, Best Pencil Artist, and many others, of course. So that's Plastic Man. Really great little issue. I really love those old 1950s ones. I did have, unfortunately I haven't got any of them now, the archive series of Plastic Man. They're reasonably priced. There's certainly one that I occasionally, if I look out for them, I think, you know what, I must pick up one, but I haven't seen one in recent years. Marvel Tales there, issue 4, and I love these ones. These obviously Marvel Collector's Items, Classics, Marvel Superheroes, etc., etc. These are just great. The great thing about them is you see the comics, obviously unless you've got the original comics, I haven't got, this is issue 7 of Spider-Man. It's really nice to see them in basically the same form as they were released at the time. And also you've got Strange Tales there. That one's issue 102, obviously very early Human Torch. And also Tales to Astonish, number 39, as well as number 86 of Thor. That's obviously the Tomorrow Man at that point. And you've got obviously Spidey there. And of course, I love the fact they had this lovely contents as well. But also the return of the Vulture. Obviously the Vulture was only a couple of issues previously. You had the Vulture. Obviously you can have a quick recap of the Vulture there. Marvel Age of the Comics, December 1963. But it's just great to see them in this form and not how they've been sort of restored and super cleaned up. I mean, I've got no problem with those. But at the same time, it is also nice to see them in this sort of very early form. And I just think it was a great little story of the Vulture. Really, really good character. Obviously there, threatening Jameson there. And of course, Peter Parker can't particularly do anything there. He's of course sitting there with Bessie Brandt saying, you know, he's not a hero or anything. Obviously, saves the day later. The prisoner of the wizard. The wizard, of course, went on Frightful Four, all those sort of characters. Just loved, obviously, Paste Pot Pete, the Trapster, of course. And there he is. So, again, one of these characters, why he just didn't use his brain to actually just create good things, help humanity. But instead, of course, wrecks everyone. And, of course, obviously, look at that. Doesn't do that too often now, does he? Where he actually obviously flames off his hands there. I love this. Sue Storm, better known as the Invisible Girl, a female member of the Fantastic Four. They actually have to put a little bit of entry at the bottom there to tell you, as if you wouldn't know, that's obviously Sue Storm. Maybe the readership was very different. I don't know. I wonder how many people who bought the Fantastic Four bought Strange Tales. Did they buy, or did they just dismiss it? Oh, that's Human Torch stories. And I think they missed some really good stories. Not all, but these ones are perfectly reasonable. Though quite a lot of them often revolve around asbestos, which I always slightly, you think, but still. There's obviously the Human Torch bursts through it again. Yeah, there it is. Thin sheet of asbestos. Thor the Mighty. I love the way they always quit. Not the Mighty Thor, Thor the Mighty, on the trail of the Tomorrow Man. Absolutely brilliant. Originally presented Journey Mystery 86. Great, look at that robot. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? And of course, doing a test, and of course, you've got Odin. He asks him if he can travel through time. Something he didn't particularly do that often, but he could have done that all the time, couldn't he? Just travel for a different story, fighting Kang or something occasionally. He's got the C bomb. Okay, Cobalt bomb, I expect. Ant-Man, the Scarlet Beetle, the vengeance of the Scarlet Beetle. And you've got the Scarlet Beetle there, and of course, you've got various stories there. And on to the end of the story, you've got there the Scarlet Beetle, lots and lots of beetles coming into the story. Of course, at this point, the Wasp was not in the story. And that's, unfortunately, the end bit's just been ripped off. Oh, really? Last page has been torn out. Anyway, I love the fact they include the covers as well. That's always, I don't know why they dropped that. That was one thing I really loved about those. It's great. And I love Archie comics. Life with Archie. They had piles of them. They had loads of these ones. And I thought, should I buy? And they're all, I think, were £1. I thought I should buy the whole lot. But I didn't. I thought, no. But still, I regret Hashimoto. Oh, The Sound of Silence. I wonder if that's a bit of a reference to, obviously, certain Simon Garfunkel, The Clutching Hand. They're great little stories, these Archie ones. I mean, I've got loads of Archie comics, and I just think they're just great. Not all. I mean, some are terrible, but there are generally decent sales. Now, they do have variations that they repeat quite a few times. So, and you've got this time, obviously, doesn't often like a big monster like that. Look at that for a scream. That is a scream and a half right across that panel. And of course, you've got all the other Archie. Look at that. Archie's Jokes, Betty and Veronica's Summer Fun, Christmas Spectacular. They really churned out the Sabrina as well, the Teenage Witch, Josie and the Pussycats, Little Jinx, and many others as well. And you could get them all reasonably priced as well, obviously with a mail for your choice today. Now, unfortunately, all the Archie comics now are all in digest form. I really liked them in this form far more than the digest ones. Now, I think when they reprint the digest ones, they must do something with the sizing because it just seems odd the way they format it. But anyway, this is Little Archie Comics, or Archie Comics, I should say, not Little Archie. And Archie there as well. Oh, give your daddy a kiss. Hang on. Suddenly you're thinking this was some weird what-if story that Archie's got kids. Anyway, obviously not. But they're still great. I love the red as well. I don't know why. There's always some of these ones when you get Archie series, issue 119, 15 cents. Actually, that was quite expensive. That was 15 cents. So when was this? Oh, 1972. I was going to say that's slightly odd for, I thought it was 1960s for some weird reason. This is a great one. Captain Marvel. Real tatty issue, but still Unchained Captain Marvel. The sensational new. And of course, only a couple of issues later, we have, of course, the classic Thanos stories. Because you've got Captain America. I don't think Captain America even turns up in this, but he's got, of course, well, if he does, he's sort of obviously a cameo appearance. Kane, and that's the reason I got it. Gil Kane's artwork. I love Gil Kane's artwork. And there it is. And a child shall lead you. Of course, you've got Captain Marvel there, not Marvel at that point. And you've got there, obviously, Captain America there. Oh, of course, he is in there. Completely forgotten about that. Actually, I haven't checked this one over. I've read most of these. I've gone through, but this one I hadn't. I just pulled it out of its packet. And, well, I read it years ago. I must have completely forgotten exactly what the story was. I'm cutting out, as he says there. However, things don't work out exactly because, of course, Captain Marvel gets into the scene. And there's, obviously, I love those ones, the checklist. Well, what was released this week? Actually, quite a bit. Hulk King Size Special number 2. You got Sergeant Fury 70, Captain Savage 16, I love those. Marvel Greatest Comics 23, Rawhide Kid 72, Our Love Story issue 1. Also Marvel Superheroes number 22. And also Silver Surfer 8, Fantastic Four 91, Avengers King Size Special number 3, Thor 168, that was Galactus, X-Men 60, so X-Men was still going at that point, Daredevil 56, Chamber of Darkness issue 1. No Conan at that point. Shield number 14. Of course, just great artwork by Gil Kane. That's, like I say, always the reason for getting anything like this. Gil Kane, one of the best artists as far as I'm concerned. And there's Captain Marvel. This is another one. Plop. Very unusual. I don't think they had many of these sort of humour mags from DC, but, well, I suppose a bit like sort of Houses of Secrets, isn't it? And that sort of House of Mystery. You've got Joe Orlando there. And you've got all the various stories there. You can see the artwork. Very unusual, scratchy artwork. But still, Plop. I thought, must get that. It was very cheap and cheerful. And I'm very bit of a King Kong there. Slightly variation of King Kong. The Message. See, it's obviously got lots of different stories all the way through. Again, another series that probably I don't think has had a collection of. I'm quite certain it hasn't. I don't know Basil Wolverton as well. I mean, can't beat a bit of Basil Wolverton there. Also on the back, of course. But I'm not certain why they've never brought out a series of Plop, which is very strange. And also it's got some Bernie Wrightson, The Gourmet. I knew there was a reason why I got this one. As soon as I saw it, when it said actually on top, it said Bernie Wrightson. I thought, oh, I didn't realise that. And so I thought, yes, I get that, definitely. Very, very nice. And then on to the next, right at the end, you've got this little black and white there as well. So Plop, Ploop, Plop. 20 cents, October. Now, I don't know what year it was. Plague, it says there, 1973, near enough about time that I started buying comics on a regular basis. That's a few months after it. I didn't buy it at the time. I must admit, I don't know why. Maybe it just never turned up in my hometown. This is an unusual one. Outer Limits, the boy with the incredible time machine saved the world. I mean, you see something like that. You've just, dinosaur, time machine, it's got to be bought. Dell, of course, Dell comic, 1 shilling, 5 pence, as it says. And this obviously 1969. You've got there the Outer Limits. no relation to a series of, it might be, it's called The Outer Limits, of course. So yes, obviously, no, it doesn't actually say. Is this related to the TV series, or is it just called Outer Limits just for the sake of it? I don't know. It's very strange. Right. Well, obviously he's developing his time machine at this point, and eventually we actually go back somewhere. It's scary, just tops of the futuristic buildings. As you, of course, have. Kid just goes off, time machine, and he's in the future. And obviously got other developments there in the storyline. This one's got a tatty issue, it's like falling to pieces. You can see some serious rips in this. Still, real nice one there. And finally, to a book I got, Dad's Own. Now you think, oh, really? But the good thing about it, this is packed solid with some great comics. So advertisements, Eagle's Rivals, also Eagle, which is very nice. And also it's of course got the Shepherd King. Love that. Also these cutaways. I love cutaways. Brilliant, the big blow up. And Jack and Jill, the Jolly Jingles. And there was some great artwork in those as well. The family that thrilled Jack and Jill readers. Now, it doesn't have all the comics, so obviously this is a certain run of certain comics they've used, because, you know, definitely a massive, it'd have to be a massive book if it covered all. Now, I must admit, when it's Dad's Own annual, why did they put Jack and Jill in? I mean, I suppose, I never, Jack and Jill, all those sort of ones, I don't think I ever re-bought those. Maybe Playbox, was it Playbox? Something like that. Look and Learn, Face Up to Beauty. I didn't even actually buy Look and Learn that often, to be honest. It was more like Billy Bunter there. I was more a Marvel fan. I have to say I bought these sort of ones as well, comic cuts. I love these now. I must admit, when you get all these ones, children's newspaper, the news for kids, Ranger. Again, a lot of these actually passed me by. Trigon Empire, the rise and fall of Trigon Empire. I mean, I did look at some of them, but I never bought them on a regular basis. Knockout. Again, one of these ones, this is 1953, well before my time, but again, Knockout there as well. 3 Old Pennies, 1939. You got here another Hatch, Match and Dispatch. Carl the Viking. Of course, all these have been brought out recently in various books. Comic Cuts and Buster. And finally, you got How TV Began to Dominate the World of Comics, Thunderbirds. And that is that. A run through of all the various books I got at the Comic Mart. Now, I did get some DVDs and various things. Actually, I got this DVD on the way back. Just popped into my local Keck shop. This one's Dr. Mordred. I don't even know. No idea. Don't know anything about Jeffrey Grooms. And it's probably rubbish. I have no idea. Just suddenly I thought, you know what, that looks great. It's one of those ones you sort of think, oh, I'll buy that. Try it. And if it's a disaster, well, why not? You know. And it's also got lots of features, and it's by 88 Films. So hopefully it's going to be good. I just love it. Obviously, Doctor Strange, obviously the master of the unknown. Could be good, could be terrible. Hell on Wheels, I love that series. This was £1. Brilliant. I mean, a Blu-ray, £1, complete series of one of the best Western series. Obviously, Deadwood was pretty good as well. I love Deadwood. But this one, and also 1883, I thoroughly enjoyed that as well. Actually, that'd be great to get on Blu-ray. Also, I loved Smallville. And this was £1. I mean, the complete 9th season. Excellent. Some great little stories. I had the Justice Society of America in this. I think it was Zatanna, and also Stargirl. I don't know if it was the same Stargirl that, of course, was later. Can't remember now. However, you got you got Zod and all that sort of stuff. And it's got a lot of special features. Blu-ray. And this one, 60p. I don't think it was 60p. Actually, I got this at my local charity shop. I didn't get it at the Comic Mart at all. For some weird reason, I got in there. However, it's really good. X-Men. Okay, it wasn't that great. However, Muppet Show. I love this sort of one, and I had quite a lot of box sets. And I love when you go through box sets. You think, oh, you know what? That's it. And I probably might watch only 1 or 2 episodes of this because I'm probably not a mega Muppet fan. But the thing is, it's got the original Muppet pitch reel, and also you've got the original Muppet Show pilot. It was like I say, £1. I thought, yes, I'll go for that. The Muppet Show. This is when I remember watching this when it came out. Probably absolutely rubbish, but I love any Roman stories. So Caligula, I thought, and I think they're bringing out an Ultimate Edition or something. Someone's bringing out, probably in the States. So I don't know if it's going to be available here or not. But if it does come out, if it's 4K, of course, it won't matter because it will hopefully be region free. But of course, all the extras will probably be on a Blu-ray, which will not be region free. That's so annoying. But Caligula, just like Malcolm McDowell, classic. I think loads of other characters. I mean, loads you got. I think everyone turned up in this. I don't know. You can see the list there. Great selection. Helen Mirren as well. Absolutely brilliant. Any Roman stories, I just love. The complete 40 Towers. I've never really watched all of the episodes of this, so I thought, you know what? Yes, I'm going to buy this. If nothing else, I will at least watch all of the episodes instead of just, well, quite often you see them on TV and you often see the same one, the German one or whatever. Well, this time, or the one that's there's someone dead in the room, those sort of things. So I definitely watch the entire lot. Also, some papers from the time. This is April 10th, 1976, and also The Melody Maker from also 1976. 1976 was one of those weird years. Probably had some really dire music. It had some great music as well. I mean, I really love lots of the great songs at that time. Also the fashions and everything, all those sort of things. Also the TV. However, it was that change. It was just obviously glam and all that sort of stuff was all sort of dying out. Well, of course, it didn't die out. Nothing sort of, it all just sort of trundles on into different forms. But of course, you had punk. It was just you get the occasional reference to punk in this. It's just great. And of course, you've got all the obviously people who are still going. The Who, they're still going now. And you've got other Real Thing, Johnny Taylor, Freddie Mac. And also it's got things like this, talking about Who's Generation, the Great Mod Revival, which is quite nice because, of course, the Mod Revival, as far as I remember, it was more 80, 81, that sort of time, I think, 79. I suppose Jam, of course, that was that mod. I imagine there was a lot of sort of mod artists that were still, producing stuff at that period, and I just didn't know about it. I got into sort of like the heavy metal at that period as well, the sort of new heavy metal, or whatever it was called at the time. And also you've got various other characters there. Steve Rossman reports of Howard Scott, Du Bois and B.B. Dixon. And also you've got Hawkwind there. I loved Hawkwind, Roadhawks there. And also, of course, Led Zeppelin, In the Presence of Pure Rock and Roll. And unfortunately, when you get these ones, it quite often it's all bits of paper, ends up everywhere. But also you've got all the adverts as well, Record Mart as well. I just love some of these ones. You've got all the Mr. Sound while it was around. You've got ABBA, Waterloo, David Bowie, Rock and Roll, Suicide, etc. And also other records there, golden oldies. You've got here the Byrds, Mr. Tambourine Man, US import, UK singles, and also Bachman Turner Overdrive. And let's see what else is in there. The Roy Wood Story, really good. Flowers in the Rain. Also various, obviously about the music, all the various obviously guitars you can buy, as well as all the various amps and various other things as well. Actually, quite a lot of these papers had lots and lots of things that I always think, crumbs, I didn't realise how much they had about all the various music and all the various gigs and things. It's just fascinating just going through all this. And you've got here, Are We All Going Mad? I love all the letter pages when they all talk about various things. They all talks about the Beatles and stuff. Bowie falls on London. They flew away, buried alive. Also, someone obviously did the crossword there. And also, you've also got all the various posters there you could get, and obviously things like the T-shirts, old denim gear. I imagine, of course, lots of people would be looking for mod gear. Probably, of course, at that point, 1976, a lot of that was only 10 years ago. People could probably still find it in the markets. So people, obviously, things for sale, various records to buy. I don't know what they were saying. British groups, American singles, Hawkwind Freaks, records for hire, Elton 7/11/70, early singles, bootlegs. Amazing they put that in there. I was quite surprised by that. And also, again, guitars there, more instruments. And you got at the back, that's a band, Chocolate Kings. 1976 again, obviously the hottest summer. I will always love 1976. And will we ever have a summer like that again? Will we want a summer like that again? Probably not, for various environmental reasons. However, you got Marley, The Heat Is On. I wonder if that was a reference to obviously the summer that was going to come. Obviously that was June, so it would have actually been in the summer, that really hot summer. And also you can see the different, always the way when you things, especially these fall apart. You can see their bestsellers, and you've got soul, you've got reggae, and also you've got publishers, radio's top spins. You've got the Capital London, Clyde, Glasgow, Luxembourg. You've got top 30 albums. ABBA's Greatest Hits was number 1, Live in London by John Denver, brilliant. Wings at the Speed of Sound, Black and Blue, Rolling Stones, Presents by Led Zeppelin, Best of Gladys Knight and the Pips, Diana Ross, Instrumental Gold. Also you've got US singles. I love that. Love Hangover by Diana Ross. And also, of course, At the Speed of Sound with Wings as the US album number 1. And you've got Haste. Oh, Tanya Tucker, brilliant. I love country music, so it's just great to actually see that. Hold On to Tasty. I'm not saying they would put that down, but her music was absolutely superb, still superb, really brilliant. And you got, now the Melody Maker was slightly different. You got different artists, different sort of way, and a lot of obviously the music, instruments, and all that sort of the gigs and things that are all mentioned in here. I didn't realise that. Maymont Street, I wonder where Maymont Street is. Must admit, not part of London I'm familiar with. But you've got here Coming Soon, and there's so many lovely, great references to things. And I think, oh, did I say it? Yes, Sex Pistols 101ers. That's in the 100 Club in London. That was obviously on Tuesday, obviously in June. So it's just starting to come in. The Stranglers get a few mentions as well. I don't think I've seen The Damned. But Eddie and the Hot Rods get some mention there. You've got Judas Priest, obviously that sort of music as well. Freddie Fender, whoever Freddie Fender was, I can't remember. Shawady Waddy, Heavy Metal Kids as well. But you also got Electric Light Orchestra. You got Sheer Elegance, and there's loads of others as well. Now, I wonder if they actually mentioned my town. No, can't see any. They probably did, but I just can't see any there. But look here, I love the fact they have gig guides like that. Just great. And of course, the gig's probably 50p or something. Some of them, obviously, maybe a pound. I don't know. 70 pence. They're certainly reasonably priced. Janice Ian there. Oh, look at that record. The radio player there. Got a radio player. Donovan. Well, Donovan's still there. You've got also City Boy Hall of Fame, of course. Their Hall and Oates. And, oh, I love that. Look at that one. You've got their Caroline Records. Oh, is that? That's strange. Just looks like the Virgin one. Strange. Anyway, Isotape. That's Deeper End. Now, quite a lot of this, some of these artists I'm not really familiar. Obviously, Rod Stewart. Look at Rod Stewart. Very different now, isn't he? You got the Bellamy Brothers, aren't we all? So you got that. This paper is falling to pieces just in front of me. You've got the Roots Strong in the Funky Kingston. You've got obviously there. And Sizzling Rivers in Full Flood. Sam Rivers. But it does mention lots of like different artists that some are more familiar with than others. Has Reggae Sold Out, apparently it says there. Oh, What a Lovely War, Soul Food. Obviously, soul was very much in, and that's falling to pieces there. Oh, and Stevie Nicks had obviously just joined Fleetwood Mac, so obviously you've got mentioned there. Also, you've got mail order ones there, again, all the various posters and clothes that you could get at the time. It's always just fascinating. The blues, sound check. Again, lots obviously musical instruments. That's the sort of thing that Melody Maker would always feature. And you've got there, obviously, Rainy Days and Mondays. I don't know if that's the Carpenters reference. And, of course, lots and lots of adverts for various work. When you look through this, it says guitarist wanted or lead guitarist wanted, lead guitarist, etc., etc. We think, wonder what those bands were. We like Rolling Stones or something. Could have been. They just put an advert in these things and you think, oh, said, you want someone for this. And you've got obviously drum kits there. You've also got various other things as well. And Music Mart and various other things. Great adverts at the back there. So that's a run through of the two papers. I don't actually see many sort of new music papers at the Comic Mart. But as soon as I saw them, I thought, yes, I will definitely buy them. And certainly any sort of like 1970s ones, I would be very happy to pick up. So hopefully people will put more of these ones at Comic Marts. Probably not going to be. I'll probably go to Comic Marts for the next couple of years, never see another one. But still, I was really glad to pick these ones up. All the various things I bought at the Comic Mart, and a bit beyond, obviously, the Comic Mart as well. Anyway, did you go to the Comic Mart? Did you enjoy the Comic Mart? Will you be going to the next Comic Mart? I mean, I think they're just great, always enjoyable to go to, and I just love just wandering around all the time. Sometimes I pick up some great stuff. Sometimes I get lots more books, and I didn't get many books this time. I just couldn't find any. I picked up a few and then just put them back down again. And sometimes you have stalls where you've got the things and you think, oh, look at that. But maybe next time there might be something that I think, yeah, I'll buy that. Anyway, I hope you found this of interest. Like I said, please put some comments about various things you've bought recently as well. Have you bought any great comics that you want to talk about and say, this is brilliant? Do you love coverless comics as well? Or do you really hate coverless comics? I mean, maybe they're not for everyone, but I love those sort of things. Also, please thumbs up if you like the video. Always great. And also, please subscribe to the channel as well. Bye.